Dan Kindlon, Raising Cain, Protecting the Emotional Life of Boys. Boys growing up in today's society are surrounded by cultural expectations and stereotypes that shape their understanding of masculinity, often pushing them towards unhealthy and harmful behaviors. Raising Cain, Protecting the Emotional Life of Boys by Dan Kindlon sheds light on how these notions impact young males, from the emotional struggle of adolescent years to difficulties with relationships and mental health. While the book explains the origin of these issues, it also offers research-backed solutions and practical guidance for parents, educators, and children themselves to foster a healthier emotional environment for boys.
The negative impact of masculine stereotypes on boys. Stereotypical notions of masculinity, which glorify tough and emotionally detached male heroes, are still dominant in our society. These ideas are perpetuated through various media, including movies and advertisements. As a result, boys are influenced to engage in bad behaviors such as binge drinking, fighting and driving drunk. Studies have directly linked these behaviors to the pervasive image of macho masculinity. Parents must intervene to counter these stereotypes and raise their boys to be emotionally expressive and empathetic. Boys and learning disabilities. Boys have a more challenging time in elementary school than girls due to biological differences, such as slower synapse development and impulse control. As a result, boys are more likely to suffer from learning disabilities. Researchers suggest possible solutions like reorganizing classes and incorporating exercise corners in schools. Elementary schooling is a time when children begin to establish fundamental skills, such as reading, writing, and arithmetic. However, this can be more challenging for certain children, particularly boys, who mature at a later age than girls. According to psychologist Diane Halpern, boys experience cognitive difficulty because the synapses that facilitate their nervous system function at a slower rate than girls. This developmental difference can lead to learning disabilities that make up the majority of boys in elementary school. One solution suggested by researchers is to team up boys with developed impulse controls, such as 6-year-old girls that are more likely to have a firmer grasp of basic skills. In addition to this, energy management has been found to be another challenge. Boys are more hyperactive than girls, and are likely to act out as a result. Montessori schools have provided an exercise corner where children can burn off extra energy through activities like jump rope. This exercise corner helps mitigate the severity of disruptions in the classroom while simultaneously giving children a healthy outlet to expend their energy. Overall, the differences between boys and girls in elementary school extend well beyond just being boys. They require a different type of nurturing due to the way their brains develop, and this nurturing can help them build a more successful academic trajectory. The survival strategy of adolescent boys. Adolescent boys' interests in similar TV shows, comic books, and clothing styles are a survival strategy to cope with the cruel environment they're forced to grow up in. Psychotherapists who work with these boys acknowledge that cruelty is widespread in their surroundings. Boys who are not popular face teasing and bullying in school, especially in the locker room and the bathroom. This culture creates a constant state of fear, eventually leading to emotional guardedness. Therefore, to avoid being a victim, boys participate in these cruel rituals, which makes them understand that it's better to be the perpetrator. The hostile environment forces these boys to hide their emotions, constantly be on guard mode and trust no one. The power of a father's presence. Fathers play a crucial role in their children's lives, especially for boys. Previously, the mother-child relationship was the primary focus of psychological research, but this has since been rectified. Research indicates that boys with involved fathers perform better academically, have better mental health, and gain better job prospects. Further, boys with present fathers have a reduced risk of committing delinquent and vandalizing acts. Fathers provide unique attention and guidance to their sons, influencing their emotional well-being and helping them develop empathy and healthy relationships with women. The most significant determining factor for a successful transition into adulthood is a father's attendance at school parent meetings, surpassing even economic factors. Fathers have a crucial, irreplaceable role in raising their children, especially boys. The importance of a mother's touch. It's natural for adolescent boys to feel uncomfortable with physical intimacy with their mothers. However, child psychologists and neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky recognize the importance of nurturing touches for a child's development. Mothers can sometimes feel awkward about physical contact with their sons, but fears of causing sensitivity or turning their sons gay are unfounded. The benefits of a nurturing hug, such as greatly reducing stress, outweigh any awkwardness. The story of Hope and her son Aaron exemplifies how a new routine of energizing hugs can benefit both mothers and sons. Addressing emotional difficulties in young men. Many young men find it challenging to communicate and handle their emotions, which can lead to isolation and loneliness. Martin's story highlights the need for parents and loved ones to recognize and address unhealthy symptoms. However, since seeking help is often seen as an act of weakness, it's essential to be proactive in identifying prolonged periods of moodiness and withdrawal. Parents and loved ones should provide therapeutic assistance to adolescents early on to prevent them from developing severe psychological issues. Boys and suicide. Boys are at higher suicide risk than girls. The gender divide is alarming, with statistics showing that boys account for most casualties. In the 1997 American National Health Statistics, 86% of teen suicides were boys, with an even higher percentage in the age range of 10 to 14. Boys tend to be ignored when they call out for help, making it essential to be attentive to any distress signals. The story of Keith exemplifies the need to take boys' cries for help more seriously. The emotional life of men. Men's difficulty with emotions often impacts their relationships with women. The rejection of emotionally charged situations is a mask for many young men who fear vulnerability. Jerry's inability to process his emotions after a heartbreak harms his future relationships. Jeff, a notorious womanizer, finally matures in his 30s and finds stability. In their 30s, most men tend to quit manipulating women emotionally and sexually, opting for healthy relationships instead.
Kindlon's book, Raising Cain, Protecting the Emotional Life of Boys, demonstrates that traditional notions of masculinity and societal pressures harm boys and limit their emotional development, leading to destructive behaviors and hindered relationships. By examining the root causes and exploring potential solutions, the book emphasizes the importance of redefining masculinity and providing a nurturing, accepting environment for young males to grow. Addressing issues such as the role of fathers, the need for physical nurturing, and recognizing signs of emotional distress, Kindlon's work paves the way for a healthier, more emotionally aware generation of men.